Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and thought, I've come so far, so why does love still feel like a mystery? Maybe you've raised a family, built a life, handled heartbreak, and learned to stand on your own. And yet, when it comes to dating in your 60s, it can feel like stepping onto a completely different planet. You're not alone. Dating over 60 isn't like it used to be. The rules have changed. The people have changed. And if we're being honest, so have we. But that doesn't mean romance is behind you. In fact, this stage of life may be the perfect time to open your heart again, only this time with more wisdom, self-respect, and clarity than ever before. Now, if you've been wondering what single men over 60 are actually looking for, what they really want in a woman, you're in the right place. Not just vague ideas like companionship or a nice smile, but the emotional truth, the unspoken needs, and the little things that matter more than they admit. Let's talk about it. Woman to woman. No games, no guessing. You see, when we hit our 60s, many of us are already carrying a full suitcase of experience, resilience, maybe even some old wounds. We've been strong for a long time. We've learned how to live alone, to make decisions, to get things done. We've built a life where we don't have to depend on anyone, and that is something to be proud of. But when it comes to love, especially with men in this stage of life, something interesting happens. The things that made us powerful in the workplace or capable in our families don't always translate the same way in a romantic relationship. That's not a bad thing. It just means we need to approach things differently. So let's start with this. One of the first things that many single men over 60 want, but may not have the words to express, is this. They want to feel needed, but not controlled. It sounds simple, but it's a fine line, isn't it? You've been independent for decades. You know how to fix the faucet, change the light bulb, manage the bills. You don't need anyone to take care of you. And yet, men still want to feel like they bring something to your life. Not because you can't do it yourself, but because you'd rather let them help. It's about emotional space. Instead of saying, I've already got it, try saying, I'd love your help with this. Watch how they respond. That puff of the chest, that quiet smile. Men in their 60s often grew up in a world where their worth was tied to what they could do, how they could provide, how they could protect. That instinct doesn't go away just because the world changed. And no, letting a man open your pickle jar or reach a shelf doesn't mean you're giving up your power. In fact, you're creating connection. You're giving him a role without losing your own. The second thing they deeply want but rarely say out loud is appreciation. Real appreciation. Not the polite thank you or the sure whatever shrug. I mean the kind of appreciation that lights up their day. A simple, I really enjoyed that, or that meant a lot to me, goes further than you might think, especially when it's genuine. Why? Because men over 60 have lived through their own battles too. Maybe they've gone through a divorce. Maybe they've lost someone they loved. Maybe they've spent years being criticized or overlooked. What they long for now is someone who sees them, not just for what they do, but for who they are, for how they try. Think about the last time someone truly thanked you without expecting anything in return. That feeling stays with you, doesn't it? It warms you from the inside out. That's what you can give a man who's forgotten what that feels like. And here's where it gets even more interesting. A lot of men in this stage of life don't even realize how much they crave this kind of respect and emotional validation. They may not ask for it directly, but when you offer it, they soften. They open up. They remember how good it feels to be admired. Now let's talk about femininity. That word can be tricky. For some of us, it brings up images of weakness, submission, or playing small. But that's not what I mean. Femininity, real femininity, isn't about makeup or dresses or playing dumb. It's about softness where it counts. It's about being open to receiving, not just giving. It's about slowing down enough to let someone else step forward, not because you can't, but because you choose to let them. Some of us spent our whole lives proving we were strong enough, smart enough, capable enough. And we are. But now, in this chapter, the invitation is different. It's not about proving. It's about connecting. That might mean letting yourself be surprised, saying yes to the offer, letting someone walk you to your car, carry your groceries, or even pick the restaurant. These little gestures, when accepted with grace, allow men to feel like men again. And maybe that's what we've forgotten along the way. It's okay to let someone care for you. It's okay to allow space for masculine energy in your life, not because you need it to survive, but because you're ready to enjoy it. So many women I've talked to say the same thing. I don't want to be someone's mother. I want a partner. And that's beautiful. But a partnership isn't built on control. It's built on mutual respect. When you give a man the freedom to step into his strengths, you create a bond that feels balanced. You stop being his critic and start being his encourager. And that changes everything. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about returning to a part of yourself that may have been buried under decades of doing it all. Your gentleness, your ability to nurture, your warmth. None of those things make you less. In fact, they make you more. And when a man over 60 meets a woman who knows who she is, who carries herself with quiet confidence and open-hearted kindness, he notices. He may not say it right away. He may not even understand what he's feeling, but he feels it. Because it's rare. Because it's powerful. Because it's beautiful. There's so much more to explore here. But for now, I just want you to know, you are not too old for love. You are not past your prime. You are not invisible. You are a woman with stories, strength, and softness. And that is exactly what many good men are searching for, even if they don't know how to ask. Let's keep going. It's funny, isn't it? We spend so much of our lives trying to figure men out, and just when we think we've got the hang of it, we reach this new stage in life where everything feels like it's shifted. You meet someone new, have a nice conversation, maybe even a few laughs. But then, something fizzles. Or he pulls away. Or he just doesn't connect the way you'd hoped. And you start to wonder, what is it that these men really want? Well, one thing that becomes more and more true as men age is this. They want peace. Not fireworks, not drama, not perfection, just peace. Men in their 60s have likely had their share of chaos. Some have been through divorces. Others have lost loved ones. Many are navigating health changes, adult children, retirement shifts, and even the quiet discomfort of loneliness. What they long for, deep in their bones, is someone who makes life feel lighter, not heavier. You don't need to impress him with a flawless life story or dazzle him with your resume. You just need to be a woman who brings warmth, not worry. A woman who can laugh at the little things. Who doesn't overanalyze every silence. Who lets things unfold without needing to control every outcome. That doesn't mean you have to dim your light or swallow your opinions. Quite the opposite. But the way you express yourself, your timing, your tone, your energy, that's what sets you apart. That's what makes him feel at ease. And feeling at ease for a man over 60 is one of the most attractive feelings in the world. Here's another insight. Men this age want a companion, not a project. They're not looking for someone to fix them, improve them, or critique them. They've been through enough of that. What they really want is someone who accepts them as they are and makes them want to be better, simply by being around her. That kind of woman doesn't nag. She doesn't lecture. She doesn't make a list of everything he's doing wrong. Instead, she inspires. Maybe it's the way she takes care of her health, or how she speaks with kindness, or how she carries herself with quiet confidence. It's in the little things. The way she compliments instead of corrects. The way she invites instead of demands. The way she makes him feel like he's winning, even in the smallest ways. Let me tell you something that surprises a lot of women. Single men over 60 are often more emotionally sensitive than you'd expect. They may not show it the same way we do. They might not cry during a movie or talk for hours about their feelings, but they feel things deeply. And when they sense criticism, disapproval, or coldness, they retreat. They might not even know why. They just feel uncomfortable and disappear. So much of connection at this stage of life is less about the big gestures and more about creating emotional safety. If he feels safe with you, not judged, he'll stay. He'll open up. He'll want more. This brings us to something important. Men want to feel respected. Respect is the oxygen in a mature relationship. It's not about putting him on a pedestal or pretending he's always right. It's about valuing his opinion, even if it's different from yours. It's about letting him be who he is, without trying to change him into someone else. That might mean pausing before correcting his story, even if he got a detail wrong, or listening fully before jumping in with your own perspective. These things sound small, but they're powerful. Because they say, I see you. I respect you. I'm not here to win, I'm here to connect. And respect doesn't have to be serious all the time. It can show up in playful ways too. Like teasing him gently instead of mocking. Or asking for his opinion on something that matters to you. Or even just looking him in the eyes and saying, I really admire that about you. That kind of energy, it's magnetic. Now here's something that may not be talked about enough. Men over 60 are often unsure about dating women their own age. Not because they think you're not beautiful or vibrant, but because society has conditioned them to associate youth with love, energy, and approval. They scroll through online dating profiles and see picture after picture of women with silver hair and honest wrinkles, and something inside them hesitates. Why? Because they don't realize how radiant a confident woman over 60 truly is. That's where you come in. You don't have to look 35. But you can show up with a sparkle in your eye, a great photo, a touch of color on your lips, and a profile that says, I love life, and I'm ready to enjoy it with someone who feels the same. That energy is irresistible. Because the truth is, a lot of men over 60 are tired of chasing illusions. They want real. They want warmth. They want fun. They want connection. They just don't always know where to find it, or how to trust it when it appears. That's why it's so important that you don't hide yourself. Be proud of your age. Be proud of your laugh lines. Be proud of the life you've lived. Because it's not about looking young. It's about being alive, being joyful, being present. And when a man sees that, truly sees it, he starts to shift. He realizes that what he's been looking for all along isn't some younger woman with less baggage. It's a vibrant woman with depth, humor, compassion, and fire in her heart. You have nothing to prove. You've already lived through the hardest parts. Now, this chapter, this beautiful, free, exciting chapter, is about receiving. Not just giving love, but allowing it to come to you. Letting someone cherish you. Letting someone show up for you. Letting someone see how incredible you truly are. You may not be the same woman you were at 25, and thank goodness for that. Because the woman you are now, she's wiser, softer in the right places, stronger where it counts. She knows what she wants. And she's no longer willing to settle for less than real connection. That's what men are drawn to, even if they don't have the words for it, even if it takes them a little time to recognize it. So keep showing up with that energy. Not the energy of proving or performing, but the quiet, grounded glow of a woman who knows her worth. because that is irresistible. One of the most powerful things we learn with age is that love doesn't have to be loud to be real. It doesn't have to sweep us off our feet or make us feel breathless to be meaningful. Sometimes the best kind of love shows up quietly, with steady hands and kind eyes. And that's exactly what many men over 60 are hoping to find. Something real, something calm, something lasting. And yet, for many women, there's a hesitation. Maybe you've been hurt. Maybe you've done the inner work and healed, but that little voice still whispers, "What if it happens again?" Or, "What if I lose myself in someone else's world?" And I want you to know, it's okay to feel that way. That's not weakness. That's wisdom asking for care. But here's the truth. The kind of man you want, the kind of man who wants you, isn't here to take anything away from you. He's not trying to control you or rescue you. He's not looking for a maid or a mother. He's looking for someone to walk beside him. Not behind, not ahead, beside. And that brings us to something beautiful that men rarely talk about openly. They want emotional safety just as much as women do. At this age, a man isn't looking for someone who makes him feel like he's always failing. He's looking for a woman who makes him feel like he's enough, like he doesn't have to perform or posture or pretend. A woman who sees the man he is, not just the one he used to be. So how do you offer that kind of presence? It starts with truly listening. When he talks about his past, his career, his regrets, his kids, his fears, don't rush to fix it or share your own story right away. Just hold space. Nod. Ask gentle questions. Let him feel heard. Men often go through decades without anyone really listening to them. They've been expected to be strong, to provide, to solve problems. But now they crave connection. Not competition. Not correction. Just connection. And here's something else that's surprisingly powerful. Men over 60 still want to feel desired. You might think, at our age, really? Yes, absolutely. That doesn't mean they're expecting you to be someone you're not, or to play a role. It means they want to feel that you're genuinely drawn to them, that you still see them as a man, that you enjoy their presence, their touch, their humor, their quirks. A compliment goes a long way. A light touch on the arm, a glance that lingers just a second longer. Those little signals say more than words ever could. Because aging doesn't mean attraction disappears, it just deepens. It becomes more about energy than appearance, more about presence than perfection. You might be surprised how many men over 60 are still romantic, still affectionate, still longing to give and receive physical and emotional closeness. And many of them have been starved of it, either from past relationships that grew cold or from living alone for years. So when they meet someone who still sees them with warmth, who wants to connect, it melts them. And here's something important to remember. You set the tone. You don't have to rush anything. You don't have to cross boundaries you're not ready for. But if you are ready for love, if you are open to connection, let it show. Let it live in your body language, your tone, your smile. Because here's the honest truth. Many men over 60 are unsure if they're even allowed to express affection anymore. They're unsure if a woman their age still wants that kind of closeness. They don't want to be rejected or seen as too much, so they hold back. But when you give just a little signal that it's okay, that you do enjoy affection, they relax. They return to their natural instinct to give. And when two people over 60 meet each other with openness, kindness, and even just a little willingness to be vulnerable, that's where the magic begins. Let's also talk about something that's often misunderstood. A lot of women feel frustrated when they read online dating profiles and see men asking for women 20 or 30 years younger. It's tempting to take it personally, to feel invisible, to wonder if we've been completely written off. But the truth is, Many of those men don't even realize what they're doing. They're chasing a fantasy that doesn't actually fulfill them. Because what they really want, what they truly long for, is someone who gets them. Someone who understands their references, their memories, their pace. Someone they can talk to at 3 a.m. about the Beatles or the moon landing or how strange the world feels sometimes. You are that woman. You are exactly what so many men are looking for. They just don't always recognize it on the first swipe. But when you show up in your full light, in your confidence, your humor, your grace, something changes. You become unforgettable. Not because you look 30, but because you carry yourself with presence, with soul, with strength. And yes, that scares some men, but it also awakens the right ones. The ones who are ready. The ones who've done their growing. The ones who don't need to be chased or fixed or convinced. They're looking for someone who will meet them where they are, with open eyes and a full heart. And that, dear friend, might be the most liberating truth of all. You don't have to perform, shrink, chase, or change to be loved. You just have to be. Be honest. Be curious. Be playful. Be kind. Be soft when it matters, and strong when it counts. Be willing to receive. Be willing to rest. Be willing to say yes to the joy that's still waiting for you, because it is. And love at this stage of life, it's not about finding someone who completes you. You're already whole. It's about finding someone who sees your wholeness and says, yes, that's the woman I've been hoping to meet. So here we are. You've made it through decades of life, learning, loss, love, and everything in between. And now you're standing at the edge of something new. Maybe unexpected. Maybe a little intimidating, but definitely possible. Love. Not the naive, head-over-heels love of our teenage years. Not the messy, chaotic kind we struggled through in our 30s. But something better. Something grounded and quiet and steady. Something rich with laughter and understanding and shared mornings over coffee. And here's what you need to hear, now more than ever. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're not invisible. You are radiant. You are wise. You are full of stories and softness, and men, good men, over 60 are still searching for that. But here's the key. They're not looking for a fairy tale. They're looking for something real. A connection that makes life feel lighter. A companion to walk beside, not a role to fill. They want someone who makes them feel seen, not scrutinized. Appreciated, not analyzed. They're not asking for perfect. They're asking for presence. And it starts with you being honest with yourself. Are you open to being loved, truly? Not just admired or chatted with? Loved. As you are, without needing to prove anything? Are you open to letting someone do for you, not because you're weak, but because you're finally ready to receive? That's what men over 60 want more than anything. A woman who knows how to receive. Not just gifts or compliments or help carrying the groceries, but affection, support, devotion, because they want to give. For so long, they've been told to be useful, to fix, to solve, to work. And now, they want to feel that what they offer still matters, that their effort still means something, that you see it and see them. And when you do, when you allow yourself to pause, soften, and let him in, something beautiful happens. You both begin to heal. You begin to remember that love doesn't always look like fireworks. It can also look like folding the laundry together or holding hands during a walk. Like sharing silence without feeling uncomfortable. Like knowing someone is there at the end of the day, not to complete you, but to witness you. To sit beside you in the beautiful, quiet truth of who you've become. That's the love that lasts. Now maybe you've tried online dating and found it frustrating. Maybe the men your age seem distracted, disinterested, or stuck in their ways. And that's okay. Because the right one for you? He doesn't need you to be anything but yourself. And when you show up as that, real, relaxed, receptive, you give him permission to do the same. And it's in that space where real connection grows. So how do you start? Start by letting go of the checklist. He doesn't have to be 6 feet tall, play jazz guitar, and love red wine on Tuesday nights. What matters more is how he makes you feel. Do you feel calm around him? Do you feel more yourself, not less? Do you feel appreciated for your laugh, your opinions, your quiet moments? That's the stuff that matters. Next, start showing up in places that bring you joy. Not just dating sites, but real-life spaces where your energy is lit up. Book clubs, dance classes, community gardens, art workshops, coffee shops. When you do things you love, your energy shifts. You glow. And people notice. Especially men. They notice a woman who's alive in her own life, who isn't waiting to be rescued or validated, who's simply enjoying being who she is. And finally, don't be afraid to let someone in slowly. You've earned the right to be cautious, but don't let fear become a wall. Let it be a gate, one that opens with time, with trust, with kindness. You can still protect your heart and let love grow. You are not broken. You are not hard to love. You are not out of chances. The truth is, you are entering the most powerful, peaceful, and passionate chapter of your life, if you allow it. So take the risk. Smile back. Send the message. Accept the coffee date. Open the door to a connection that might surprise you. Because men over 60, they want warmth. They want peace. They want affection. They want a woman who is strong and soft, independent, but open. A woman who's lived and learned and still believes in the beauty of starting again. And you, my friend, you are that woman. So if no one's told you lately, you are beautiful. You are worthy. You are seen. And here's to you, living, loving, and thriving in the best years of your life. If you enjoyed this video, take a moment to like it. It lets us know this message mattered to you. And if you're new here, subscribe to Strong Elderly Life for more heartfelt, practical conversations about life, love, and everything that comes with growing older with grace and joy. And please, don't be shy. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you had experiences dating after 60? What have you learned? Your story could inspire another woman who's right where you were. Here's to connection. Here's to softness. Here's to love. Real, grown-up, beautifully imperfect love. And here's to you, living your best life at any age.